I can start. No, I don't know. Yes, I can start. Yes? Yes. I would like to thank everyone for coming here today, and I would also like to thank all the librarians for the wonderful books that inspire me every day. I also want to thank all the 3D shop staff for helping me with the tools every single day, and also special thanks to all my committee members, my mentor Zach Keenan, Jody Williams, and Rick Safira for generously offering all the knowledge and support for the whole time while I'm at MCAD. And lastly, I would like to thank everyone in Design Systems for 2017. They taught me with their constructive feedback that it is not about whether I'm good or bad at graphic design, but how much I can learn and how much we can help each other. And learning and sharing is the theme of my thesis. I grew up with a lot of mangoes. Our apartment building was surrounded by mango trees. We live on the 4th floor. My family took out a badminton racket, and we took out a net from the racket, and we put a hook in it, and we put a bag underneath it. At the end of the racket, we attach the bamboo stick that we used to dry our clothes to the end of it to make it longer. When we're done, we stick our tool outside of our windows, and the hook would clip the branches, and the mangoes would fall inside the bags. And this is how we get mangoes every year. Through this tool, my family taught me if we think hard enough and try hard enough, we might be able to get free food without working outside our rooms. And they also taught me things should not be only used the way they're designed for. There are many, many other ways that we can use them before we throw them away to the landfill. In his book, Don't Go Back to School, Kyo said there are 2 ways of learning. First one is the one that we encounter every day in school. You learn new things with the goal of gaining mastery and understanding with a specific area of knowledge. Second one, or you guide your process by learning what you need to complete a specific project. And a lot of my projects at the beginning when I started MCAD was inspired by project-oriented learning. So Lifelong Kindergarten is one of the media labs at MIT, and they focus on projects that help kids learn. So they started this Scratch program, which kids and teenagers from all around the world all have access to, and instead of doing the actual coding, they just need to click on icons like moving or drawing or other things. And through clicking on those icons and then arrange them through specific sequence, people from all around the world have created games, dance tutorials, manga tutorials, and also through Scratch, people from all around the world build their online community to share their specialties with each other. How you can do this, is there a trick to do something else? Mitchell Resnick, who's still the professor at Lifelong Kindergarten now, he wrote a book about all the projects that Lifelong Kindergarten has done. And he said, the project-based approach takes a broader view of knowledge. It recognizes that knowledge is not just a collection of concepts. As students work together on projects, they learn not only webs of concepts, but also sets of strategies. Strategies for making things, for solving problems, for communicating ideas. Inspired by all kinds of project-oriented learning methods, I had a small show at Sioux Visual Arts Center in Minneapolis, where people learn different ways to make books through making books that look like breakfast food. For example, in this picture, in this setting, people learn how to do Japanese for-hole binding through making books that looks like bread. And you can choose marble rye, whole wheat, and white bread. And if you come early, you'll get the white bread with jelly illustration on it. If you come late to the opening, you'll get the moldy illustration on it. Or you can simply learn how to use round hat fastener to put pages together by making a fried egg book. And you can also design your own fried egg pattern and cut it out. And this example, you learn how to make different kinds of cheese book, and then you'll make accordion fold, and you can choose blue cheese, Swiss, or cheddar. And in this example, you can learn how to make saddle stitch by making different kind of fruit book. You can choose green apple, red apple, orange. So I used to spend a lot of time on project-oriented learning, and I thought that would be my thesis. But then when I was doing my research, I encountered this program called Design A. It is an education program from Japan that explores different ways of creative thinking for viewers of all ages. Instead of telling people what to do, they ask a lot of questions. What if we talk in pictures instead of words? What if we turn the beeps of cars into smiles? What if we pretend to be the birds or the cats in a city and then observe the city? Can we see why the cities are designed in the way they are now? Or how many different kinds of ways we can write the Japanese hiragana A and let them dance with each other to the music? Or how many ways we can decorate the cake and cut them and view them from different perspectives? Before I start my thesis project, I would like to talk a little bit about this standing table that we used at the Learning Center. We purchased 1,000 of those for students who need to stand up in their class or exams. And I was super intrigued by the design, but the only problem that we found is it's not quite portable. You can't put it in a backpack. So I started thinking, is there any way else to make something similar, but also portable that you can put in your backpack and people can just carry with them? So this is my first attempt. So it's just one sheet of cardboard, but if you fold it like kind of like accordion fold, and you have a standing table that you can use for your laptop. And so this is my first attempt, and then I have the small adjustment on the details. But then when I was giving it to Jennifer and Rachel, they said, actually I cannot use it because if the keyboard is at the right hand of my hand, but then the screen will be so short that my neck is gonna hurt. So with a couple suggestions, I had a second design that kind of a different shape, but with this case, you can elevate the screen a little bit more. So then you can type at the height of still at your comfortably with where your hand is, but you can also view it view the screen at your eye level. And then people started asking me, but what about a desktop? How do you deal with that? Or a laptop where you need to use your mouse, or if you have a lot of external hard drive connected to it, what are you gonna do? So over the winter break, I come up with a third design. This is gonna work. So, yeah. Problem solving, always. Yeah, so in this case, this is like 4 sheets of cardboard, but they still, this is the entire thickness of it. And so first you put those two trifold sheets together and make sure that the longest one will attach in each other. And then you put the two other sheets that has this 45-degree cut to the middle, like this. Then you flip it, and then you attach it like this. I'm almost there, almost there. Yes, got it. Or you can put, the other way you can use it is you can put your desktop on this, and then the keyboard on here, and you put your mouse here. Imagine that they're the same height. So, for my thesis project, it's going to be very similar based on the product showed, but the difference is that all of the pattern will be embedded in shipping boxes. So, for example, this is this is the shipping box you got when you get shampoo or like art supplies, and the black lines are showing the pattern, the pieces that you need to cut off, and the white ones that you're going to build. So the end product of this is this, which is very similar to the standing table over there, but it's embedded in shipping box, so there's no that much waste of material. We don't have to like buy extra cardboard just to make this product. So my imagination for my thesis project would be a lot of shipping boxes that different sizes, and you order them. Imagine that you have a new studio and you buy microwave or drawing pad, and then with the boxes that comes with it, you can use them to build tables, chairs, cabaret, and shelves that you can use to store those things. So, and then for my thesis exhibition, it's going to be boxes that are unopened that the viewers are welcome to participate, and then the boxes that are already open and built. And ideally, you only need a knife to do all the cut and fold and finish building all of the furniture. Yeah. Anne Mary, she is one of the engineering professor at University of St. Thomas and St. Paul, previously a professor at MIT. She said one of the most beautiful phrases about makers in the world. She said, makers each in their own way is making the world a little bit better by empowering someone else, or designing a new tool, or by making someone smile in delight at the things they've made. And I hope my work could help the world generate more makers, and together we can create a world full of unexpected magic. Thank you.
Still gonna answer
questions.
Can you expand a bit on the importance of sustainability?
Yeah, I think it's very important, and I think it should be embedded in all of the art and design classes here. I know it's difficult for artists, but I think it should be. And we should, not only we should encourage recyclable, environmentally friendly material, but we also need to tell our students and the rest of the world the difference between being actual environmental friendly and the greenwashing, because some materials, a lot of things in the market right now, they are marketed as recyclable, but once they're coated with something that are not recyclable, you can't recycle it anymore, and the recycle company actually has to take them out. So I think it's really important. So like that's one of the difficulty while I was designing this product, because I can't coat it with anything to make the cardboard unrecyclable. That will be against the purpose of my entire project.
Sherry, have you tested the weights that you can put on the boxes? And if you could demonstrate.
And I did a weight test with all the periodicals at the library, and currently it can support 160 pounds if it lays flat. It has to be a flat surface, though. Yeah. It's actually whatever the object is on top of it is creating a flat surface to support the weights than the structure itself.
Well, of course, you're our #1 user in the library, so thank you. I was wondering how much you're working with like an engineer on this, or working with different size bodies. I mean, it would work for you and for me, but you know, how much of your testing goes into it with those kind of different human factors, and also if you're using other people to help you with the engineering part of it.
So first of all, for people of different height, is that what you mean? Yeah. So they are actually, currently they're all for my height, or actually for people even shorter than me, but each of different design has a taller height, and 2 steps taller, and 2 inches taller, and then 2 more inches taller for the tallest people. So all of them has different heights. And then engineering, currently I'm just thinking out of my head and then just asking people from the 3D shop for their help. And sometimes I'm just so lucky that people pass by and say, hey, have you tried this? Like the second design that is folded, originally I just built a flat surface on the top of the first one. And then Bing Bing said, you just wasted so much material. Can you just make sure that you don't waste that much? So together we come up with a different solution.
So, Sherry, have you considered expanding the idea into a full system, like maybe a chair,
Yes.
ramp? Yeah?
Yes, I took your class. I have to prove it, right? Yes, so it will be a brand. It will be a whole system of different kind of boxes that people can fold, but they also they can use it to build something else. And the pattern will not look as simple as that. It will be my own logo and different my own system of diagram for how you can cut and fold and glue, that kind of thing. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So maybe this is more of a clarifying question, but so this will be your brand, or are you going to branch out to like Amazon or UPS and kind of propose for their packaging at all, or what's the future after you figure out the design and you know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't fully come to a conclusion yet, but currently I want to start my own brand first. And then maybe when I have a fully developed system, I'll talk to the online shopping places. It's up. Time is up. I heard it. Okay.
I'm lucky enough to be right next to Sherry in the studios, and I noticed that when we first started school last year, she was really into pop-up books, and they were just piled everywhere. And I'm wondering if that was the place you started from, and this is the end of the evolution of the pop-up book, learning how to fold paper?
Yes, yes. And I feel like instead of making a complicated pop-up book for my thesis, I would rather making something that seems simpler, but people can all learn the process and the engineering part of the thing, than me showing people this is the full thing. Yeah.
Thank you.